The poorest of the poor. They make up almost 80% of the population of India. At the mercy of God and nature, nearly all of them make their living from the land. They suffer in silence, ready to bear whatever lot God gives them. Someone must help them. Someone has come to help them. His name is Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. He was born in this very same small village in southern India, Puttaparthi, over 75 years ago. And now there is hardly a person in India who does not know his name and speak it with great reverence. Satya Sai Baba, or Swami, as he is known to his students, has always done great things for the less fortunate, such as the many free schools and hospitals found throughout India. The students of Satya Sai Baba's schools are known for their fine character. Swami himself has been known to care for the poor and suffering, even from his early years.
The task I love most is to alleviate the suffering of the poor people by providing them with what they lack. Service to man is service to God. Man is not merely a human being, he is the embodiment of divinity. All acts of service done to others are to be treated as service rendered to God.
Water, one of man's greatest necessities. In the modern world, water is often taken for granted. But in many arid areas of the world, the poor have no access to pure water. In portions of southern India, in the rain shadow region of the Western Ghats, there are no major rivers, and the people are dependent on seasonal rainfall. During the rainy season, the canals and lakes usually fill up, for a time supplying the necessary water. But during the dry season, these water sources dry up. The land looks up to the sky, as the local villagers say, and has often presented a depressing scene. Living conditions in these remote villages are very difficult to begin with. But the lack of water can make life unbearable. Often, the only sources of water are terribly polluted. In many villages throughout India, the water has a high fluoride content, which can cause bone deformities and damage to teeth. The villagers have been compelled to use the same water they use for bathing, washing clothes, and watering cattle for their drinking water. In these same remote areas, the water needs to be transported from its source. And often, any water, no matter how polluted or how far away it is, has been used. But in early 1995, one determined native of this district decided to change things forever. Baba launched through the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust a massive project to provide safe drinking water to 731 villages in Anantapur district, covering a population of nearly 1 million suffering villagers.
Water supply, Anantapur Jilla Lopala, Andhra Pradesh సంబంధించినటువంటి ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ వచ్చి ప్రారంభించడం నిజంగా ఇది చాలా ఆనందించవలసినటువంటి విషయం. It's a joyful occasion that the water project is inaugurated by the Prime Minister who belongs to the state of Andhra Pradesh.
The project, costing nearly $70 million, involves massive excavation, blasting, extensive pipe laying, construction of numerous filtration plants, storage reservoirs, and finally, tens of thousands of pipe outlets in the villages. Baba's spirit of love was infectious, not only enthusing project workers to exert themselves far beyond the call of normal duty, but also spurring the beneficiaries who came forward to cooperate in innumerable ways. This contagious enthusiasm spread to the state and district administration, and the typical bureaucratic delays disappeared. Thanks to Baba's constant and direct personal interest throughout construction, the entire project was completed in the record time of 18 months. In 1998, the facilities and works associated with the drinking water project in Anantapur were handed over to the state of Andhra Pradesh. The Anantapur project proved to be just the beginning, when in 1999, Baba turned to the northern districts of Medak and Mahabubnagar that also were plagued by acute shortage of drinking water. Here, Baba provided relief to over 321 villages and helped eliminate the suffering of over 1 million villagers. Thanks to Baba, for millions living in these remote villages, clean, safe drinking water is now available to them throughout the year, at their doorstep and free of charge. Baba has made sure that an autonomous board, free from external forces of any kind, manages the waterworks in these regions. As a result, the villagers are not only getting water, but they've also been empowered. But the need for pure drinking water is not only in the remote villages of India. Satya Sai Baba has now embarked on the monumental task of solving the drinking water problem of the huge metropolitan city of Chennai, with a population of over 8 million.
ఎంత కష్టమైనా సరియే మెడ్రాస్ కంతా కూడాను మంచి నీరు అందించాలని నేను సంకల్పించుకుంటున్నాను.
Let it be very difficult. Let it be a stupendous, magnificent task. Bhagavan has decided to supply drinking water to Madras.
The drinking water projects, executed thus far by the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust, constitute the largest of such projects ever completed by an organization outside the government. All the completed projects and the Chennai project now under execution clearly show it is not always necessary to seek external help. Strong determination combined with pure and selfless love can really work wonders, as Baba has demonstrated indeed in all his projects.
Whenever you see a sick person, a dispirited, disconsolate, deceased person, there is your field of service. Every blood cell, every nerve must tingle with love, with eagerness to share that love with the forlorn.
At sunrise on the morning of November 23rd, 1926, the prayers of a pious Hindu woman were answered when she gave birth to a son in a small house which formerly stood on this site. Witnesses recall untouched musical instruments resounding on their own in the house, and a mysterious cobra, a traditional sign of divinity, was later found under the newborn baby. The child was named Satya Narayana Raju. As he grew, it became apparent young Satya, whose name means truth in Sanskrit, was different from other children. He was helpful to the villagers, doing work unselfishly. Called Guru by his playmates, he led them in devotional songs before school and fascinated and amused them by materializing candy, pencils, and playthings from an empty bag. In May of 1940, 13-year-old Satya put aside his school books and announced to his startled family that he was the reincarnation of a holy man named Sai Baba of Shirdi. While unknown in the region around Puttaparthi, Sai Baba of Shirdi was revered in the north by Muslims and Hindus. He dressed like a Muslim, but wore ash on his forehead in the Hindu custom. He slept one night in a mosque, the next in a temple. At a time and place where religious rivalries had caused wars, he achieved peace and mutual respect between the faiths by his example. As he was dying, Sai Baba of Shirdi told his followers he would reincarnate in 8 years. 8 years later, Satya Narayana was born. After revealing his identity in 1940, young Satya told his parents he belonged with them no longer, explaining his devotees were calling and it was time for him to go. He left school in October of his 13th year and began to gather followers around him.
The miracles I perform belong to the boundless power of God. So far as I am concerned, they are evidence of my divinity. It is not by any means an exhibition of divinity. All performances of magic, as you know, are done for the sake of income. These are tricks of the magician's trade. They constitute a kind of legalized cheating, the transfer of an object from one place to another by a trick of the hand which goes unnoticed. They involve no city or miraculous power. What I do is quite a different act of creation. It is neither magic, nor is it city power either. For one thing, I seek no return. For another, I do not cheat people by transferring objects, but I create them. Again, I do so not because of any need or desire of exhibition of my powers. For me, this is a kind of visiting card to convince people of my love for them and secure their devotion in return. Since love is formless, I use materialization as evidence of my love. It is merely a symbol. Most people desire talismans symbolic of my protection, so I provide them. When they are in trouble, they feel the grip of the ring, bracelet, or watch to remember me and call me to their rescue so that I can help them. On the other hand, if I give them something they cannot wear, they are likely to store it and forget about it. These trinkets or talismans give people a sense of security and protection they need in time of trouble or crisis, and create a symbolic link covering the long distances between them and myself. When the devotees need me, these objects flash the message as if by wireless, and I instantly come to their rescue. I can cure, save, even resurrect people provided they are in a spiritually receptive condition. It is like the positive and negative currents of electricity. My capacity to heal can be compared to the positive current. Your devotion to me is the negative current. Once the two come together, the devotion provides what is called the miracle of healing.
The physical objects manifested by Satya Sai Baba frequently represent the religion or belief of the recipient. Dr. John Hislop, head of the Satya Sai Council of the Americas, relates an experience when Sai Baba created a unique crucifix and presented it to him.
We were in India in the Bandipur forest at the time of Mahashivaratri, and Swami was driving around through the forest with several people to locate a place where the ceremony could be held. And we finally found a dry river bottom, and that evening we all came back again, got out of the cars and started to walk down the slope of the hill towards the dry river bottom. I happened to be walking beside Swami, and we passed a small bush. And Swami picked off 2 twigs and held them in the form of a cross like that, and said, Hislop, what is that? I said, well, Swami, it's a cross. So he then put the 2 twigs in his hand like that, and blew 3 times on his hand, and opened his hand, and there was this cross that you see here on the back of my hand. He said, this is Christ as he really and truly was, not as artists and historians have pictured him. His stomach's all drawn in through several days of no food and so on. So I looked at it and I said, well, Swami, what is that hole at the top of the cross? He said, that is the hole that was made in the cross to hang the cross on a standard. And he said, furthermore, the wood of the cross is a piece of the actual cross upon which Christ was crucified. Then he added, and I can tell you it took a little time and trouble to find a piece of that wood after some 2,000 years.
God is man and man is God. All of us have something of God, the divine spark within us. All men are divine like myself, but with a spirit embodied in human flesh and bone. The only difference is that they are unaware of this godhood. They have come into this karmic prison through the mistakes of many lives. I have taken this mortal form out of my own free will. They are bound to the body, while I am free of this bondage. The main difference is that they are shoved hither and thither by desire, but I have no desire except the Supreme One to make them desireless. Whenever strife, discord, and disharmony overwhelm the world, God incarnates in human form to show mankind the way to love, harmony, and peace. The Avatar takes a human form and behaves in a human way so that humanity can feel kinship with divinity. At the same time, he rises to godly heights so that mankind also can aspire to reach God. The realization of the indwelling God as the motivator of life is the task for which avatars come in human form. Therefore, in my present avatar, I have come armed with the fullness of the power of the formless God to correct mankind, raise human consciousness, and put people back on the right path of truth, righteousness, peace, and love to divinity. The Vibhuti ash I materialize is a manifestation of divinity with a potent significance as well as symbolization. It is symbolic of the cosmic, immortal, and infinite nature of all forms of God, Atma, or the Spirit. That is, what is left when everything worldly, transient, and changeable has burnt away. In the first place, it is symbolic of the life-death cycle in which everything ultimately reduces itself to ash. For dust thou art, and unto dust shall thou returnest. Ash or dust is the final condition of things. It cannot undergo any further change. In the spiritual context, Vibhuti constitutes a warning to the receiver to give up desire, to burn all passions, attachments, and temptations in the fires of worship, which makes one pure in thought, word, and deed. It is in order to press home this lesson that I materialize ash for those who come to me with love and devotion. Like the other materializations, it also acts as a talisman, healing the sick and giving protection to those who need it. It is a symbol of divinity, quite different from magic trickery. My powers to protect, heal, save people, and materialize objects originate in God and can be used only by an avatar.
After the morning ceremony, crowds gathered in the auditorium. Baba spoke on the significance of the Vibhuti Abhishekam. This followed the usual pattern on such occasion familiar to the devotees. The silver idol of Shirdi Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba's previous incarnation, was bathed and wiped dry. A jeweled necklace was produced by Baba by the wave of his hand and placed on the idol of Shirdi Sai Baba. The wooden vessel in the shape of a flower vase was held upside down overhead. Baba started churning the same with his hand inserted into it, throwing out large quantities of vibhuti, pouring from nowhere, as it were, and covering the idol with exquisite fragrance. When Baba took out his hand from the upturned vase for a short while, lo and behold, the vibhuti stopped flowing down, as though to convince the doubting ones amongst the spectators that the otherwise empty vessel needed the divine hand for it to produce the vibhuti. The flow that seemed capable of being an unending one starts all over again as soon as Baba puts his hand into the vase. It is on such occasions that logic fails us, for in the confusion, not realizing that he who can produce the vibhuti at will out of an empty vessel can also stop it at will. We begin to wonder more when the flow stops than when it resumes. The night of Shivaratri, the dark of the moon, symbolizes the mind when the moon is in its 16th phase only. A 16th fraction of the mind remains to be subdued, suggesting its nearness to the goal of self-realization. Liberation can be easily obtained on this auspicious night by the grace of Lord Shiva. Baba said, in order to bear witness to the fact that the divinity is amongst you, it becomes necessary for me to express this attribute of mine. The Shiva Lingam is the fittest symbol of the omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent Lord. The emergence of the Lingam from the mouth of Sai Baba is the clearest symbol representing the formless divine essence, which is beginningless and endless.
The lingam which has just been generated is called the Prithvi Lingam. The entire creation and the world is contained in that lingam.
Sai Baba says,
"Come to me with empty hands. I shall fill them with gifts and grace. If your hands are full, what am I to fill them with? Bring to me all the evil in you, and, leaving that here, take from me what I have, love. Learn the capacity to see all as moved and motivated by one supreme God. Why fear when I am here? All your sins are forgiven the moment you get my darshan. I shall carry all your burdens. Take as much bliss as you can from me, and leave with me all your sorrows."
Small example. You love your wife. You love your mother. Why are you loving them?
She is my mother.
You are having the confidence that she is your mother.
She is my wife.
You have got the confidence she is your wife.
He is my son.
And you have the confidence that you are son.
Love develop.
Because you have the confidence, you develop love.
Even our bhaiya, even our talya, confidence love develop confidence.
If you do not have the confidence that she is your mother or wife, you don't develop love.
Where there is confidence, there is love.
Where there is confidence, there is love.
Where there is love, there is peace.
Where there is love, there is
Where
peace.
there is peace, there is truth.
Where there is peace, there is
Where
truth.
there is truth, there is bliss.
Where there is truth, there is bliss.
Where there is bliss, there is God.
Wherever there is bliss, there is God.
No confidence.
You don't have confidence.
Always doubts.
Always you're full of doubts.
మీరు జీవితంలో ఎన్ని సంవత్సరాలైనప్పటికీ శాంతిని పొందలేరు.
With all these doubts, in any number of years, you will not be able to attain peace of mind.
కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ పెట్టుకోవాలి.
First and foremost, you develop confidence.
ఒక ఆత్మవిశ్వాసం ఉండాలి. సెల్ఫ్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్.
You should have self-confidence.
Where there is self confidence, there is self satisfaction.
Wherever there is self-confidence, there is self-satisfaction.
Where there is self satisfaction, there is self sacrifice.
And wherever there is self-satisfaction, there is self-sacrifice.
Where there is self sacrifice, there is self realization.
Wherever there is self-sacrifice, there is self-realization.
Self realization, self confidence.
Self-realization depends on self-confidence.
ఇదంతా షెడ్లో మీరు కూర్చున్నారు.
You are sitting in a shed.
దీనికి ఏది ఆధారం?
What is the basis for this?
ఫౌండేషన్.
The foundation is the basis for this
ఫౌండేషన్
building.
లేకపోతే వాల్ భద్రం లేదు.
Without foundation, wall will not be strong.
ఈ వాల్ లేకపోతే రూఫ్ వేయలేదు.
Without wall, you cannot have the roof.
రూఫ్ లేకపోతే మనం నివసించలేము.
Without roof, you cannot live there.
కనుకనే సెల్ఫ్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఇస్ లైక్ ఫౌండేషన్.
Self-confidence is the foundation of the building.
సెల్ఫ్ సాటిస్ఫాక్షన్ ఇస్ లైక్ వాల్.
Self-satisfaction is the wall.
సెల్ఫ్ సాక్రిఫైస్ ఇస్ లైక్ రూఫ్.
Self-sacrifice is the roof.
సెల్ఫ్ రియలైజేషన్ ఇస్ లైఫ్.
Self-realization is life.
Realization is life.
Realization is life.
Realize. I want realize.
You say that I want realization.
నిన్ను నీవు తెలుసుకో.
You know yourself.
Who are you?
Who are you?
This is my body.
You say I am my body.
This is my mind.
This is
my hand.
This is my hand.
This is my leg.
This is my leg.
This is my head.
This is my head.
But who am I?
Who am I? Ask the question.
Very important.
This is very, very important.
This is my body.
You say this is my body.
This is my leg.
You say this is my leg.
My mind.
This is my mind.
Who am I?
Then who are you? Who are I?
I am separate from body.
I am separate from the
I am
body.
separate from mind.
I am separate from the mind.
See, this is my kerchief.
This is my kerchief.
Kerchief is separate from me.
Separate from me.
This is my chair.
This is my chair.
My chair is separate from me.
Chair is separate.
This is my body. Body is separate from you. You are not body.
When you say that this is your body, you are separate from the body. You are not the body.
First anyway.
This is the first inquiry.
You are not body. This is my mind. You are not mind.
You say that this is my mind. You are not the mind.
You are always separate.
You are always separate from body.
Not this. This is in Vedanta. Neti.
In Vedanta, this is the process of saying not this, not this.
I am not body.
I am not the body.
I am not mind. Not this.
I am not the body.
I am Atma.
I am the Atma.
No changes.
It is changeless.
Only mind changing.
The mind is always changing.
Monkey mind.
Mind is like a
Not
mad
ordinary monkey. Mad monkey.
Mind is like a mad monkey.
Please, don't follow the monkey.
Don't follow this monkey.
Body. Immediate birth is a change.
When the body is born, it is child.
After 10 years he is boy.
After 10 years, he is called a boy.
After 30 years he is man.
After 30 years, he is called man.
After 75 he is grandfather.
After 75 years, he is called grandfather.
Child, boy, man and grandfather. Only one person.
It is only one person who gets all
Change
four
is
names.
body.
The body is changing.
The God, no change.
God is changeless.
It is immortality.
God is immortal.
Always permanent.
He is ever present.
What is the way to immortality?
What is the way to immortality?
A question.
Ask the question.
Removal of immorality is the only way to immortality.
Removal of immorality is the only way to...
Immorality is what is it immorality?
What is immorality?
Ego, jealousy, ego, anger. These are bad qualities.
All these are the bad qualities.
The bad qualities remove this thing, immorality.
When you remove the bad qualities, immortality is on your palm.
That is very, very important.
That is most important.
Only Japan, China, it's only stunt.
Just
I don't like that.
Swami doesn't like just doing...
Because they are only sitting, pose, photo. Why going this way, that way? Use kindness.
The sitting as if posing for a photograph. But mind is wandering here and you should not believe such people. They are only stunt makers.
Mind killers, hunters.
They are mind killers and mind hunters. Don't follow such people.
Be always happy.
Be always happy.
I am God, I am God, I am God. Think like that.
Think
you are also God.
You are also God. Think that
you are not one person.
You are not just one person.
But three.
You are three persons.
The one you think you are.
The one whom you think you are.
That is physical.
That is the physical body.
The one others think you are.
The others think you are.
That is mind.
That is the mind.
The one you really are.
The one you really are.
That is Atma.
That is the Atma.
The one you think you are.
The one you think you are.
It's only body.
It's only the body.
Body. I am so and so. I am my age is this. I am lady. I am lady. It's only you think you are.
I am body. My age is this much. And I am a man. I am a woman. All this is only body. What you think you are.
Even others think you are. That is qualities.
The other
good and bad. Oh, she is bad girl. He is bad man. He is thinking. Others.
What others think you are is the mind. That is, they think whether you are good or bad. You have good qualities or bad qualities.
The one you think you are only conscious.
The one you think you are
only conscious.
What is conscious? Senses.
The one others think you are, that is conscience.
What you think others think you are is conscience.
The one you really are, that is consciousness.
The one you really are is consciousness.
Your consciousness.
Your consciousness.
Consciousness is permanent.
Consciousness is permanent.
Conscience changing.
Conscience is changing.
Conscience changing. Ups and downs.
Conscious is full of ups and downs. It is like a water bubble. The body.
Don't follow the body. Don't follow the mind.
Don't follow the body or mind.
Consciousness. You are changing.
You are consciousness.
You are God.
You are God.
Think I and God are one.
Think that I and God are one.
This is not first right.
This is not, in the beginning it may not be right.
It is not right.
It may not be right to think so in the beginning.
Because I and you are one.
I
is it right?
Yes, Baba. Yes.
No. I and you are we, not one. I and you are we.
Are we and not one.
We and we are one.
We and we are one.
I am there, you are here. We are one.
Yes.
We and we are one.
We and we are one.
Many people, I and you are one. I and you are one. Doesn't that mean
Saying
one?
I and you are not one.
I and you are we.
I and you leads to we.
Yes. Oneness, we and we are one.
We and we are one.
You are also here, I am also there. There is no any difference. Kanuka, what is this? This is cloth.
This is a cloth.
This is cloth card.
But this is not the cloth.
It is bundle of threads.
It is nothing but bundle of threads.
It is threads card.
It is not threads.
It is cotton.
It is cotton.
First cotton.
First it was cotton.
Second thread.
Then it became threads.
Thread cloth.
Finally it became the cloth.
Without cotton there is no thread.
Without cotton there is no thread.
Without thread there is no cloth.
Without thread there is no cloth.
First thoughts is like cotton.
Thought is like the cotton.
Desires like threads.
Desires are the threads.
Mind is cloth.
Mind is like the cloth.
Bundle of desires is mind.
Mind is nothing but the bundle of desires.
ఇప్పుడు ఈ క్లాత్ మనకుండా కుదిరితే ఒక్కొక్కటి ఒక్కొక్కటి రిమూవ్ చేస్తే there is no cloth.
If you want to destroy the cloth, you have to remove the thread one by one.
అదే రీతిగానే desires క్రమక్రమేణా మనం తగ్గించుకుంటే there is no mind.
If you reduce the desires gradually, there will not be any mind at all.
Less luggage, more comfort, make travel pleasure.
When you travel with less luggage, it is very comfortable.
Life is like long journey.
Life is like a long journey.
ఈ desires are luggage.
Desires are the luggage.
ఈ లగేజ్ కొంచెం తగ్గించుకుంటే మనం ట్రావెల్ సులభంగా చేసుకోవచ్చు.
If you reduce the luggage, our travel will be more comfortable.
Too much desires.
We have too many desires, too much desires.
Very bad.
That is not, it's very bad.
ఈ డిజైర్స్ పెరిగే కొద్దీ మనకు అశాంతి పెరిగిపోతుంది.
More desires we have, more restlessness we develop.
ఎప్పుడు ఈ డిజైర్స్ తగ్గించుకొని అటాచ్మెంట్ తగ్గించుకుంటే ఎంతనో హాయిగా ఉంటారు.
When we reduce the desires and attachment, we will get peace of mind.
Many people, they want peace of mind. I want peace of mind. I want peace of mind.
Like many people keep saying, I want peace of mind, I want peace of mind.
Peace, I want peace, I want peace.
I want peace, they say.
How many words are there? I want peace. These are 3 words.
The sentence has 3 words.
I want peace.
There are three words. I want peace.
I is ego. Want is desire. Remove it. Peace is there.
From these three words, if you remove the two words, I, which is ego, want, which is the desire, you are left with only peace.
ఇప్పుడు స్వామి దగ్గర నుంచి ఒక బుక్ కావాలి.
See with the eyes of love, hear with the ears of love, work with the hands of love, think only of love. I have come to light the lamp of love in your hearts, to see that it shines day by day with added luster. I have not come to speak on behalf of any particular religion, like the Hindu religion. I have not come on any mission of publicity for any sect or creed or cause, nor have I come to collect followers for any doctrine. I have no plan to attract followers into my fold or any fold. I have come to tell you of this universal, unitary faith, this path of love, this duty to love, this obligation to love. May you develop this divine love and stand out as harbingers of a new age, free from selfishness, greed, hatred, and violence. Let each of you be a light unto himself or herself, and thereby be a light unto others. All religions teach one basic discipline, the removal from the mind of the blemish of egoism, of running after little joys. Every religion teaches man to fill his being with the glory of God and evict the pettiness of conceit. It trains him in the methods of detachment and discrimination so that he may aim high and attain liberation. Believe that all hearts are motivated by the one and only God, that all faiths glorify the one and only God, that all names in all languages and all forms man can conceive denote the one and only God. Foster love, live in love, spread love. This is the message of love I bring to you.